In this video, I'm going to go over exactly how to set yourself up for success when it comes to a buyer strategy session. Now, you could use this for in-person consults or on Zoom. I always prefer Zoom because I feel like I have more control over the environment. However, there's absolutely always a time for in-person as well, and you can make the argument for either one. And regardless of which way you do it, it's important to be prepared. And one of the ways to do that is to have the right tabs open on your computer before you even start the session with the client. That way you're not scrambling, and that way, they don't see all the 100 tabs that you have open, right? So the first tab I always pull up is going to be the buyer guide. Now, they should have the actual physical copy that you've given to them at the showing. And maybe they have it right in front of you if you're meeting in person. But either way, having the digital version pulled up is key, and it just allows you to flow seamlessly. Now, are we going to go through all 32 pages of this? Absolutely not. Okay, do not do that. This is for them and should help them really narrow in on what they want out of a home, what they want out of this process. Now, the pieces we would cover are going to be obviously who we are, what we stand for, the steps here, as well as some of the other pages, which we'll get into in the next video. But the buyer guide, that is absolutely one of the tabs you should have open and have prepared, ready to rock with you. The other one is going to be Matrix, RE Colorado. You could also use Sierra, but some way to actually search for homes. I always prefer just using the MLS when you're talking to the client, because obviously that's the source of everything, and it loads quicker. You're not going to run into any bugs with searching for things like you might if you're trying to set up a search in Sierra. This is the most easy and streamlined way to do it. So you could always put a price in there as you're talking about what they want. You could put this in there, right? So single family, whatever. You're going to dial that in with them. And then the other two big pieces you're going to have, and hopefully you create already, right, is going to be the exclusive right to buy. Okay, so you should already have the client created in CTM, and that way you can walk through this document, as well as a sample offer. Again, depending on what their time frame is, how far down funnel, and what the feel is of the whole consult with them will determine how into the weeds we go into the actual offer. For some people, maybe we're just touching high level on out-of-pocket costs, right? So maybe it's earnest money and inspection and that sort of thing. For other people, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of everything with dates and deadlines and how they're protected throughout that, right? But again, it's going to be client dependent. And regardless, we should just have it pulled up so it's not the first time that they see it when it actually is time to submit an offer too. So it'll create some comfortability there. That's it. These are the tabs I would recommend having open. And in the next video, I'll go through exactly what you should cover. But as a starting point, it's important to be prepared, have these open. Another additional tab you could have open is the DMAR stats. Typically there's always someone who's more of a numbers person, and so to just have that on hand, it doesn't mean you always have to pull it up and utilize it. But if someone is curious about certain numbers and stats and that sort of thing, just by being prepared, it already lets them know that you're the expert. So that's another quick tidbit for you as well. So again, next video we'll go into exactly what to cover, but get yourself set up with these tabs.